Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, West Coast Weather Watch. Today is January 27th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery here, and you can see the current system moving down across Pacific Northwest in towards Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah as we speak, bringing some nice snowfall amounts for the higher terrain. Going to continue to bring down some more Arctic air on through Saturday. Tomorrow with another system is going to pivot down across California, then eventually across the southwest here through the early portion of next week, and eventually out over the plains, affecting places like Texas here. We'll take a look at the extended forecast as well. Looks like we may turn towards a warmer, wetter pattern here across the Pacific Northwest. Also here, we'll take a look at what kind of precipitation amounts we're going to be looking at over the next 10 days as well, as we are trying to remove drought still off some portions of the western USA here, some states out there. So any kind of snowpack we can build or any precipitation this time of year is generally favorable here across the area. Taking a look here, current hazards, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories. You got wind advisories also across Skagit, Whatcom County, or some outflow winds are going to be coming across the area here as we start to clear out during this weekend here across Pacific Northwest. Some high wind watches and warnings in effect right now, all the way out towards Wyoming and then Colorado, getting some winter weather advisories and some winter storm watches and warnings as well. Now taking a look here, this is for out towards Idaho. You can see Baker City, Boise, Burns, Idaho City, Meridian there. You can see some of these highs and low temperatures here. These are the forecast morning low and afternoon high temperatures. Some of these are pretty chilly into the single digits here, and highs only get up into the teens and 20s as we go on in through early next week. So heads up out there, especially east of the Cascades, out into Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. You know the drill out here with this very cold air coming across the region. And this is the dangerously cold temperatures highlighted by the National Weather Service Missoula out there. Watch out, here comes the Arctic air. It's on its way. Very high confidence at this point. Dangerous cold possible. This is the potential for some flash freezing out there with that Arctic front there. So watch out for those wet and slick roadways that are going to develop there on in through Saturday into western Montana. This is light snow showers all the way down to some of the valleys here, even across Medford, Oregon here. National Weather Service, so take it slow and allow extra time for driving. Snow levels down around 1,000 feet down there, so heads up for that. This is National Weather Service Eureka. Watch out for the sneaker waves, and really it's a good idea to do so all the way from Vancouver Island up there, western BC, Washington, Oregon, California. Don't turn your back on the ocean during the wintertime when there are storms coming around the region here, so watch out for those sneaker waves out there and the dangerous surf. This is the freeze potential across some of California here. You can see the potential is high out there, so watch out. Hazardous for, exposed population out there, pets, plants, whatnot. So just a heads up there. Nice graphic here from the Bay Area here, the National Weather Service. This is National Weather Service Sacramento talking about some snowfall amounts across Sierra Nevada. A little bit less than what we were hoping for a few days ago, but still anything is welcome at this point. Just minor delays really, and nothing too crazy like what we were getting the past month or so, but you can see some pretty low snow levels as well. The system on a whole is pretty chilly. You can see some snow levels down to 2,000 feet there, so kind of abnormally low. Now watch Southern California here. Look at this snow level all the way down towards 2,500 feet there. That's going to include the Grapevine and I-5 there as you go north and down back south towards Los Angeles here. Some decent amounts for some of the San Gabriel Mountains, but elsewhere around 1/4 of an inch probably here. But be prepared for that pretty chilly storm coming up here. This is National Weather Service San Diego down here. You can see expecting that rainfall and pretty chilly temperatures. Snow accumulations as possible as low as 3,000 feet out there. So 10 to 20 degrees below normal. So heads up for that. Monday looks like the biggest impacts there. This is Las Vegas National Weather Service here. You can see the drop off in temperatures as we get towards Monday, maybe even a few snowflakes around some of the hilltops and mountains there right around the immediate Las Vegas area. So heads up for that. It's going to get chilly out there, folks. Now taking a look, we'll put the weather map into motion here, and you can see the system moving across the area now. Some pretty good snowfall amounts across western Montana and Idaho down into Wyoming here as we go on into tomorrow. That Arctic air starts to sag across the area here. You can see that Arctic high and the isobars here pushing this Arctic air across the region. A little bit of lowland snow. You might see some flakes across some of the Willamette Valley and the Puget Sound, but it should not amount to much. At least it doesn't look like right now. It's just not a favorable setup here for snow west of the Cascades here generally. So this is going on in through Saturday night shown here. We should dry out across a lot of the Pacific Northwest. We'll be doing some pretty dreary conditions here, low visibilities and just kind of stagnant conditions. So this will be a nice change. We get some offshore winds coming across behind this Arctic front. As you can see, it's sagging south across California. No big precipitation amounts for the most part, but anything is welcome. Some snow across the Sierra Nevada, even across some portions of central Nevada, get some decent snow. Utah, Colorado, down through Arizona, the higher terrain especially also. So here as we go a little bit further out, that's about Monday afternoon shown here. And this system's going to develop and actually bring some weather across Texas, even some freezing rain is possible out there on in through mid next week. Now taking a look here, this is, we're going to put that into motion. You can see the storm system dropping down across the region here. This one goes out a little bit further, 144 hours. So you can see the storm pivot down across Arizona here. Some nice rainfall across the area there. That's doing pretty all right there across Arizona as far as drought conditions, but this should help out. Then you can see that system develop and exit across Texas here as you go on in through midweek coming up. But now taking a look at here, this is 100-meter wind speed here. Now watch these winds as we start to get this Arctic air sag south across BC and Alberta here. You can see the outflow winds across the Fraser River Gap there, some through the Stampede Gap across the Purcell Trench, eastern Washington, down on in through eastern Oregon also here as the storm system drives down across California. Some strong winds off the coastline there. We'll be driving another swell down across California as we go on in through late Sunday night also. As you can see, some of this Arctic air move all the way down towards Texas here on in through early and mid next week. 850 millibar temperatures here. Put that into motion. You can clearly see the Arctic air mass does not get into western Washington, Oregon, BC that much. You can see most of this cold air moving down east of the Rockies, even though we do get a shot of it across places east of the Cascades there. So heads up for that. And this will develop that storm that moves down across the southwest portion of the USA there. This was last night's European run. 06Z is 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now taking a look, 2-meter temperature anomaly, it just kind of gives you an idea that we are going to be dealing with below average temperatures across much of the western U.S. here. And you can see the terrain feature that is the Rockies here, keeping a lot of that cold air off to the east. But it does get pretty downright chilly here all the way even through Southern California towards Baja, Mexico down here as well. Look at Nevada, 20 plus degrees below average here as we go on in through Monday shown here. Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, very chilly out there. Even you're going to feel the chill even in through the Seattle metro and the Portland metro down here as well. Now taking a look at here, this is the total snow we're expecting here through 90 hours. This is last night's European run. Pretty good shot again for the Southern Cascades here. Look at the amount of snow though for Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Yellowstone out there. Nice shot of snowfall here, bringing snowfall all the way down through the Sierra Nevada, even towards the Southern California mountains. As we talked about, the snow levels are going to be pretty low across the area there too. And you can see that nice band across some of central Nevada there. I used to actually live in Tonopah, Nevada out here as well. It might clip them as well, but you can see some snowfall in the higher terrain around Las Vegas also. And then this eventually should translate to some snow down towards northern Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming. Just going to get a nice round of snowfall here as you go on in through early to mid next week coming up. This is snow depth in inches. We'll let this play through. You can see it adds a little bit of snowfall across the region there, but not too much. But we'll take anything that we can get. As you know, it's great for that once we start going into spring and summer, the more snow you have. I wanted to show this for the Pacific Northwest too, kind of stagnant up here. Take a look at that once we go on in through Saturday into Saturday night. Nice clear out here. Sunday should be a pretty glorious day across the area, although it is going to be chilly. It should bring some sunshine with it here, and hopefully these are just going to be high clouds and we can kind of keep that atmosphere stirred up here. We've been stagnant for a few days here across the Pacific Northwest. Now taking a look here, I'm trying to pinpoint any kind of snow potential here for western Washington, Oregon, BC. You can see it does show a few flakes flying around the Puget Sound, maybe around the Portland area there as we go on in through Saturday afternoon and Saturday night. But it does not look like a big event whatsoever. If you want the snow, go up in the Cascades or on in through portions of eastern Oregon. And Spokane is probably going to get a decent shot of snowfall out of this, maybe a couple inches as well. Maybe even Yakima out here, a couple inches as possible also. So you can see Portland here, just very minimal accumulation showing up and even in the ensemble runs out there. Seattle, similar thing there as well. Just very low chance of any kind of accumulating snow around the Seattle metro for the most part. Spokane, you can see that maybe 2 inches there as we go on in through a Friday night into Saturday here. That would be tonight. And then additional possibilities as we go on in through this week coming up here. Now you can see Yakima, to check it out. 1 to 2 inches maybe. Not bad out there. Usually rain shadowed kind of out there, so that would be welcome out there. Great Falls, Montana. Take a look there. Look at that mean up over 4 inches. Control getting up towards 6 inches out there. Nice snowfall incoming here on in through tonight. This is Reno. You can see a little bit later here as we go on in through the day. Sunday should be starting up here. And as you go on in through Monday morning, you could have 2 to 4 inches out there across Reno. Here's Salt Lake City, a couple of rounds of snowfall probably incoming there. Light, dry snowfall out across the region there. Flagstaff all the way down to Arizona here. The mean is around 4 inches, so decent snowfall coming out there. Probably some locally higher amounts as well. St. George, Utah out there, the control up towards 6, the mean around 4 inches here as the snow starts to pick up here Sunday night in through Monday morning. This is Las Vegas, just showing that potential there for a little bit of snowfall. It's going to be pretty chilly there as you go on in through Monday night into Tuesday morning. You're going to feel it out there. Typically fairly warm Las Vegas is going to feel that chill and maybe a little bit of snow flying around the area there on some of the higher hills or mountains. Now, this is looking at the extended forecast yesterday afternoon's run. You can put that into motion there. Here goes the system. It's going to bring all the snow across much of the west and the southwest coming up there. Notice this ridge kind of hangs out a bit there. And then the Gulf of Alaska starts to get active here a bit on into the extended. So we'll see how this goes. This is the ensemble mean, so things are going to look a bit smoothed out here, but we're kind of showing maybe a return to a wetter, warmer pattern there, and then kind of a mixed signal out as we go way off into the extended. With some ridging building here, there's even a chance for another little bit of a shot of cold air coming down through the very extended here. As you can see, troughing kind of showing up here on the west coast of North America. So we'll watch this day by day and see how this develops. Maybe it can spawn a couple more storms here before we get towards mid-February. We'll see how that goes. This is looking at total precipitation. This is the European deterministic run. This is the highest resolution model of the European. This is initial conditions best we understand them, and we run this out to the 10-day period. And you can see it's really not that much precip for California, although, you take what we can get, but it's not a lot, even though it does bring that round down through Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Colorado there, Wyoming. It's the initial storm is pretty good there, but we don't add on to it that much. And you can see maybe some storms returning to the Pacific Northwest in through the extended forecast. Now, this is avalanche.org here, and you can see mainly low around California for avalanche danger there. You can see some considerable around Mount Hood, generally moderate around the Cascades of Washington here, but you can see some high risk here across portions of Idaho and Montana. And if you want to click on any one of these, you can get further information. So if I click here, you can see high avalanche danger, Bitterroot, get the forecast, and you can see it gives a good idea of where to expect this avalanche danger and what it is, what the snow levels are at, what the forecast is. For example, to really well-maintained website here. So you can, it even brings you different snow images and whatnot and what to look for out there. So very good tool there. Highly recommend it. So yeah, the models picked this up pretty good, backing up with that ridge there, but kind of a little bit too close to bring a significant snowfall event west of the Cascades. Plus the ridge coming up across Alaska here is kind of pinched off this cold air across Canada that's just not that cold to start with. I mean, it's cold and it's Arctic air, but it's not the truly cold air that you really need to drive down a powerful system to bring a powerful snowstorm to Seattle, Portland, and Vancouver, BC. It's just not happening this round. But winter is not over yet, but we are starting to run out of time here. As you get towards mid-February, it's tougher to set up these Arctic events here across the lowlands of the Pacific Northwest. And about mid-February really gets tough once you start to hit that. But up to about mid-February, we're still in business here. And, it's only January 27th, so we have another time if we want. If that system, the setup happens right, we can get the correct ridging and the correct setup, we could still bring some powerful Arctic events into the Pacific Northwest here. So we'll be watching that. We'll be watching for that pattern change as well. Hopefully we can bring some more precipitation to California here as we go on in through February as well. We'll continue to watch that day by day also. So we'll update everything tomorrow. Also, we'll take a look at everything as well. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day. Click like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.